In 1186 BC, Roman explorers discovered Corsica and Sardinia. They were the first ones to do so. Eventually the Romans colonized both islands and founded the cities of Corsicano on Corsica and Alghero on Sardinia in 1184 BC. By 1175 BC, Corsicana and Alghero were thriving tropical cities. A few years later, tensions between Rome and the Germanic Empire started to rise. Now, since dinosaurs didn't go extinct, they were still around. Just not in Europe. The only areas they were in are the Sahara Desert, Australia, the Americas, and parts of Africa and Asia. In 1135 BC, the Achaemenid Empire collapsed, and in the remains of the nation, a new civilization named Ephesus was formed in the southeastern part of Anatolia. They built the cities of Ephesus, the capital, and Selçuk. A decade later, in 1121 BC, scientists discovered that if you eat meat every day, then eventually you will become buff. Now, you may think this is inaccurate, but this is a different universe, and in this universe, yes, that's accurate. Then in 1119 BC, another Anatolian civilization popped up. This time it was a nation named Ottomania. Their capital city was Ankara, and they had two other cities known as Konya and Malatya. These cities had a very hot climate due to their locations. Despite this, Ottomania flourished and became a regional power. Another thing that Ottomania did was invent yogurt in 1111 BC. This was very significant as this made Ottomania rich as well. This caused Ephesus to be scared of Ottomania due to the fact that Ottomania was much more powerful. In the front between the Lionist Empire and Egypt, the Lionists pushed east and captured Tripoli in 1103 BC. This was the first major advancement in this war, so it was very significant. Another war started in 1101 BC, between Rome and the Kingdom of the Franks. They advanced quickly through the flat plains and captured Frankland by late 1100 BC. They easily captured the other cities and won. This war was known as the First Battle of the Franks. It showed that Rome was very powerful and not to be messed with. In 1096 BC, the first sports were invented. The first one, invented by Rome, were gladiator battles. Gladiator battles were very intense contests held in amphitheaters around the world. These battles had powerful fighters, known as gladiators, who were usually slaves, prisoners of war, or volunteers seeking to become famous. They were geared up with armor and weapons. They faced off in one-to-one battles, group fights, and even fights against powerful animals such as lions. The battles were made to show who's boss around the town that the amphitheater was in. The crowds could decide the end of the battle by choosing if the person who's losing should die or not. The second one was wrestling. We're not sure who it was invented by, but it was about two people fighting each other in an arena, but if your knees or bottom touched the ground, then you're out. Wrestling became popular, with many arenas opening up all over Europe, Asia, and Africa.